Here on the Colour of Country Life, great to be chatting with Tourism Minister Zoe Bettison. How are you, Minister?
I'm fantastic.
And it sounds like the tourism sector in general is going fantastic compared to what we've had to struggle through in recent years on the latest data.
Look, it's really exciting to see that people are, what is in a traditionally quiet time over winter, we're seeing great results of people coming here to South Australia. So when we look at those June 2022 results, we had 195,000 interstate overnight visitors. That's up 30% from the same time last year.
And how are we travelling on the international tourist front? That's starting to come back, but just nowhere near where we were, I guess, before 2021.
Yeah, look, international is going to take some time. Partly it's to do with aviation route, and we're nearly at about 60% of the flights that we had previously. Our key focus is those companies that are already flying here, that we're going to increase the frequency of the flights. And then, of course, my ambition and aspiration is to get back some of the airlines that were here previously and continue to have increased access to South Australia.
The government had some positive news not that long ago about regional occupancy rates, even better than they were before 2021. How are they looking at the moment?
Look, it was fantastic. It's the best July on record for regional occupancy. So average occupancy was about 57%. It's the best July ever recorded. In the Eyre and York Peninsula, we saw that the average occupancy was about 65%, so even higher than ever experienced before. So we're just seeing that people are seeing their own backyard, not just South Australians, but we're seeing this really great influx of interstate visitors as well. As I said, usually winter is a more traditionally quieter time. We know how fantastic it is to be in our state in summer, but now we're seeing people coming to South Australia throughout all of the year. And that's just what we want. We want that certainty and that consistency for our tourism operators and accommodation providers.
Now, the tourism sector has said that not that long ago. They've got a whole bunch of challenges still in front of them, not least of which being labour and input costs for them. But those, I guess, are national challenges. But is there something the state government's looking at in that regard?
Look, in the state budget, we gave an election commitment, which was to the Tourism Industry Council South Australia, 1.6 million over 4 years. And a key part of that is attracting people into the tourism and hospitality industries. Obviously, when COVID hit hard, a lot of people exited the industry. What we really want them to see is not just tourism as a casual job, but as a career, and a really dynamic, interesting career. You can do your whole career in South Australia, or you can have experiences overseas and interstate as well. But just to see it as an attractive career for people here in South Australia. And they're going to do some campaigning work over that, talking to young people and people of all ages about working in tourism.
Fantastic. I noticed that there's a difference, I guess, in approach with the new government, where the previous government had the Great State Voucher Program. Is this a pivot in terms of approach to providing funding to the Tourism Industry Council instead?
Well, look, also in that budget was the announcement of $45 million for marketing over the next 4 years and $40 million for major events. So we saw that stimulation with the Great State Vouchers. It was needed. It was for accommodation, experiences, South Australians discovering their own backyard at a really limited time when the borders were shut. Now we're pivoting to focusing on marketing and bringing major events to South Australia. At the same time, as I said, talking about business capability and supporting more people to come into the industry.
Now, you mentioned the occupancy rates on the Eyre and York Peninsulas. The Great Coastlines, amongst others, are some of our natural assets, and the government's got a funding program to encourage tourism operators to offer more nature-based tourism. What's that about?
Look, this is something that we think is what we have a fantastic asset in our national parks. Over about 300 national parks throughout the whole of South Australia. The Experience Nature Tourism Fund is for people who have got ideas about products and services that could be used in our national parks. You might have a river or a lake and you might want to have a kayaking experience there. Maybe there's some e-bikes that you would like to have there. There are two parts to it for people to look at. And also about potentially temporary accommodation national park or adjacent national parks as well. We encourage people to get on the SA Tourism Commission website if they've got a great idea or they're already working in a national park but would like to expand it. Also opportunities to support training and also marketing for those businesses as well. So that Experience Nature Tourism grant is open now. It's $500,000 per year for the next 4 years.
And when they close, in about 4 weeks, is it, the applications for that?
Yeah, they close in October. So it's going to have a two-stage process, because what we want them to do is have a conversation with the Department of Environment and Water to talk about what they'd like to do. Is that compatible with what we want our national parks to be? And then they'll go through a second stage to go through to see if they're eligible for that grant.
And not to lock you in, but it sounds like glamping might be something that fits the criteria if it ticks all the boxes.
That's one of those things. So it would have to be a temporary accommodation in the national park, or like I said, adjacent the national park. It could be more permanent. But, maybe it swags under the stars. There's lots of different options that people could come up with, innovative ideas. The Sedgway tours around the national park. Someone talked to me about, I think, with Japanese bathing, which is actually not about getting in the water at all, but actually stimulating the senses and the awareness when you're walking through a national park. So these are all sorts of creative ideas for people. We know that wellness and adventure tourism is a real draw card at the moment. People want to get out in our great outdoors. And so this is looking at innovations to celebrate and to innovate those experiences in our national parks.
Tourism Minister Zoe Bettison, thanks so much for sharing that. Some exciting new opportunities for tourism in South Australia.
Fantastic. Great to talk to you.